children of my heart, sons and daughters of God. I come in the flaming presence of the Mother Ray. I come with angels of love to intensify within you the love of the Mother, the love of God, and the love of the Mother's children everywhere. The warmth of my aura, the glow of my heart's love, I place around you, that you might know that you are not bereft of love of God, that you are not alone in the universe, but that you have with you at all times the delicate pink petaled aura of the rose of the Mother's love. As I intensify this feeling of Mother in many of you who have long since forgotten the closeness of the Mother's touch, who have ceased to think that you have need of a mother, it is to show you why the fallen ones, the Antichrist, and the arch-deceivers have sought to tear down the image of woman, of mother. It is because in the presence of the Mother, the child can do anything, can rise to his full potential, can realize his genius. In the presence of the Mother, the child is always secure, always happy, singing a little song that flows from the heart, that says to God, I'm happy, I'm home in the bosom of my Mother. Mankind in this age feel dejected and neglected. Feeling alone, they cannot remember that they have at all times a Mother who believes in them, in each one, in the ability of each of her children to rise, to externalize a facet of God's being. Though all men might deny the beauty of that facet, the Mother always recognizes the jewel of perfection in the hearts of her children. In order to tear down the Christ in child man, the dark ones have sought to separate the child from the Mother, the soul from the spirit, to create a cleavage between that point in the soul that is the overcoming, the becoming of God, and that energy of spirit which is Father and which must be translated to the soul through the Mother flame. When I come into the atmosphere of earth, into the large cities, into the poorer sections where there are so many children who run in the city streets, and I come to nourish their heart flame, I am aware of the bristling energies of the carnal mind and the fallen ones. They are terrified in the presence of my flame, because they know that once the child is secure in the embrace of the Divine Mother, once the child recognizes and prays daily to the Divine Mother, that child will always be protected, will always have the sustaining energy of a mother's love to carry through the divine plan and to remain on the course of virtue and holiness, honor and nobility. The fallen ones then have contrived to tear from the children of the world the image of those great women who have portrayed the feminine ray, who have focused the mother flame. Many saints have lived to the fullness of the mother light. Women in every field of endeavor, and above all, the mother who has kept the flame for her children has fulfilled that role. Therefore, you see, there is a rising momentum on the planet of the true realization of that mother presence. But the fallen ones have created dogma and doctrine, lies about those who have fulfilled the virtue of the feminine ray. And so you see, these lies have also rested upon my name, my mission, as well as upon that of my son. It is only natural that this should take place, and therefore I do not condemn those who have been used by the lie of the tempter. For I see from the point in the center of the rose, the point in the center of the flame, that the intensity of the light is too great. And mankind, wedded as they are to the darkness, to the lust of the carnal mind, cannot contain that light unless they are willing to forsake the energies within themselves which focus a direct opposition to the influx of love. Love that is pure, love that is immaculate in the beholding of the God design of the vilest of sinners and those who are not yet quickened to the flame of life. Come then, children of my heart, into the flame, for here we would start to weave a mighty cable from the heart of the cosmic virgin, from the heart of Omega, to myself, to other emissaries of heaven who represent the mother ray, to you in embodiment who are determined to focus that flame. There was one who was chosen by me to anchor the flame on behalf of the mother. This devotee was contacted by the messenger a number of years ago and told that it would be her office to keep the flame of the mother in the city of Los Angeles. In much the same manner, a number of you have kept that flame in other cities across America. I cite this case for I wish to point out the ravages of the dark ones that are practiced against individual souls who determine to embody a light, come what may, no matter what the cost. This gentle soul was herself a mother. She was warned of the witchcraft, which is a perversion of the mother flame, and of the darkness, which would spiral in to her force field, seeking transmutation. For energy, all energy belongs to God, and the white fire core of that energy seeks to be free of the impositions of the carnal mind. This is why the greatest darkness comes to the focal point of the greatest light. It is for redemption. This, my child, you must remember when you salute the God flame and desire to raise it up as a pillar of fire in society. By and by, as this devotee began to invoke the flame of the mother, she was assailed, as it was told her it would come to pass. And the tide of witchcraft and darkness became too great. And by, she fell from the path, from association with keepers of the flame, and from this endeavor. This is the tragic account of one incident which has occurred over and over again across the face of the world. You see then why we hesitate to intensify the action of our flame in keepers of the flame who come with the joy of the Lord to the altar and ask to be given greater light, greater dispensations on behalf of their fellow man. The children who come with the joy in the milk of the word, who have not been tested and tried, who have not passed through the fiery trial, nor been the target of the fiery darts of the wicked. These know not what they ask when they ask for more light before they have surrendered their darkness. And so I come, seeking not one, but many devotees who will keep the flame of the mother in the city of the angels. For here we must build a pyramid of light, a focus for the archetypal pattern of the four lower bodies of souls who must descend to be born. We are in search of devotees who will keep the pure flow of the light of the soul as a soul matrix and the pattern of the Christ within the soul chakra that must be held as the matrix, whereby those who come into incarnation might receive elements of the pattern of the Christ for the seventh root race. You see the great divine director, the Manu of the seventh root race, and those who are desiring to prepare mankind for the incoming of these souls must begin to release, bit by bit, cell by cell, the magnificent spiral of the Christ light that is a pattern for 2,000 years. First, we must anchor this pattern in the soul chakras of the devotees. And then, when it is firmly anchored there, as the geometry of a snowflake, a pattern of a cell, then it can be transferred from the highest devotees to parents who desire to bring forth these souls. And if parents happen to be highest among the devotees, then they also will carry the matrix for many who will bring forth children, yet who will not be quickened as to the spiritual causes and the spiritual plan of parenthood. And so, the cable of light from the heart of the Cosmic Virgin is being woven. And from my heart, as I stand before you in this room, there is extended a giant cable, a lifeline, which will be anchored in any and all of you who choose to become focal points for the Mother Flame, not only in this city, but in cities across America and the entire world. and all who hear or read this dictation may apply for the extension of this lifeline. Why do you need the lifeline when you have already the flame anchored upon your heart's altar? The purpose for the lifeline is to intensify the action of the mother flame in you before that time when your outer vehicles actually have the mastery to contain such a concentrated release of that arc of light. And so by the cable that is extended, we can fortify, we can protect, we can intensify the action of the light around you as a force field of protection against the rising tide of darkness that seeks in the final hours of Armageddon to tear down that flame, that concept, that presence that is the nearness of God in the mother. Very near to the city of the angels, during the period of Lemuria, was one of the ancient temples, one of the 12 which surrounded the central altar, on which blazed the flame of the Divine Mother. Here then, there is the record of that aspect of the flame of the Mother which you would call the 3 o'clock line, the record of the destruction of that altar, that temple, and the sinking of the landed area that was the sinking of the mother flame. We see then that along the coast of California, there is a momentum to ensoul the mother flame that comes forth as a blue ray of power, as energy of God control, as energy, as of the Amazon women who were mighty women of a previous golden age, who focused the blue ray of motherhood and who brought their civilization to a peak by that action of God control. The divine complement of Hercules bears the name Amazonia, for she focused that specific pattern, that matrix of the mother flame at the Elohimic level that was purely the essence of the will of God that reached its climax in the blue fire of the first ray. I come then to nurture every aspect of the mother light. For even as you have been told that the 7 rays have 7 aspects of the Christic light, you must understand that if all aspire to be the mother, not all will become the same design, not all will come forth out of the same cookie cutter. And therefore, there is room for infinite dimension in the expression of the mother flame. And women ought to, by right, take their place in government, in institutions of higher learning, in the creative arts, in science, in service, and in the ritual of assuming the role of priestess at the altar of the sacred fire. If you will call to me as a representative of the mother flame, and I by no means exclude those who wear the masculine form. If you desire to represent the flame, I ask that you give the rosary daily, for through that action of praise to the mother ray, you will see how your consciousness will be adorned with the jewels of a mother's heart. You will see how you will begin to care, to really care about your fellow man, And because you care, you will have the flame of the Holy Spirit that is able to impart at any hour of the day or night that which is the greatest need in your loved ones, in children, in strangers, in all whom you meet. To walk down the street of a city where the impersonal life has become perverted, where people cease to care about one another. To walk down the street in the mother flame. To have the love in your heart for all whom you meet. To be able to take the time to send the fragrance of the rose, the kiss of your heart, to those who are weary with tension, with depression, with darkness, with the encasements of city life. This is a joy in itself. To see how people respond, even when they do not see you. As I observe from inner levels, as I minister to life everywhere, to see how hearts quicken with joy, how people stand up tall and feel a sense of worth because Mother is nigh. To see happiness flow, to see individuals begin to have a desire for self-improvement, the respectability of person, the honor, even the sense of chivalry, of knighthood, of courtliness, whereby men and women accord one another that grace, that understanding, that respect, which is indeed the cement of society. This is a role, a path, and a way that is so important. For as you have been told, the hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world. Many women have not been able to bring forth this concept because they feared that they would make themselves too aggressive or too important. But as a matter of fact, it is the feminine ray that rules the world. The feminine ray in man and in woman. Because the feminine ray is the highest manifestation of light, of order, and of the will of God and the mind of Christ. Therefore, to awaken the energies of Mother, of the Kundalini in your spine, is to have the wherewithal, anchored in the mind, in the crown, in the upper chakras, to fulfill your cosmic destiny. It is time that mankind realize that the feminine ray is the key to God government, to order. It is time to realize that there is no competition between the sexes, for all have opportunity to develop the true spirit of the masculine, the true spirit of the feminine. This is the way, this is the plan. And I look forward to the time when the Mother of the Flame will go forth to teach men and women how to exalt the divinity of the solar light, and how through the fusion of alpha and omega currents they can bring forth Christed man within the heart and fulfill the destiny of truly being a son or a daughter of God. The warnings and the prophecies which I have given forth in my appearances remain. And although I come not bearing dire prediction, facts remain facts. There is an equation which must be fulfilled if the planet is to continue, if civilization as you know it is to continue. The equation is this. There is a certain portion of light which hovers in spiritual planes just beyond the dimensions of mater. When sons and daughters of God and keepers of the flame, dwelling in the plains of mater, determined to anchor that portion of light, making the balance of light above as it is below, below as it is above, then this will offset the equation of darkness which now exists as karmic condition and as the consciousness of the fallen ones upon the planet. You might say that the planes of spirit and the planes of mater are connected by the design of the hourglass. And you might say that the nexus of the glass is blocked. The flow has been blocked. Therefore, all of the light that should be in manifestation upon earth is locked in the upper portion of the hourglass. I am saying that that light which is above must be equally manifest below. This is a portion of heavenly light which is destined to be released in this age as the foundation for the seventh dispensation. To see to it that that light is apportioned among the highest devotees of the sacred fire is my mission. And I am taking a portion of time away from my many duties and services with hierarchy in the coming months to find and then train souls who will carry a greater portion of light, who will receive the cable of the cosmic virgin, and who will, from this hour unto the hour of their ascension, dedicate their lives to the focusing of light, as that light is needed for transition. I come then to tell you of the equation which must be. Instead of focusing light in the lower portion of the hourglass, mankind are focusing the weight of their own karma, the substance of their own sin. Until they are emptied of that substance, the light cannot flow from heaven to earth. And we will not allow that light to flow into a force field where it will be contaminated by the darkness of these energies. Therefore, we must seek the few who have sought to purge the lower self of darkness. We must seek those who have been emptied or partially emptied of darkness. We must seek to purify further still, to prepare, to strengthen, to nourish and fortify the four lower bodies. And this includes the physical body. For if there are weaknesses in the physical body, there will also be weaknesses emotionally, weaknesses mentally. For your soul and your Christ mind can only express through the physical body that which the physical body is able to receive through an aura of health, of vibrant life. We come then to perfect the chalices of the four lower bodies. We come to find an anchor point. We come to find force fields. We must find them. If we do not, much will be lost in the coming weeks and months as the sign of the dark cycle, the yearly return of karmic energies, comes upon mankind. There must be found those who will keep the flame, keep the home fires burning, keep the hearth of the Divine Mother. I have come to you as mother. I have come as friend, as teacher, as counselor. Will you also think of me as daughter, as sister, and as infant child? Will you understand that mother is all that you love and all that you are? Will you understand that Kali in the East is another aspect of the Divine One, and Durga, and all those who have, through the many paths, brought forth her flame? Will you cease from your condemnation? Will you cease from your questioning? That is not your mind which questions. That is not your mind which condemns. I say, let it be dissolved. Will you not let go of this darkness and receive our flow? Here you sit in these rooms with an opportunity that may come once in 10,000 years. And instead of becoming as a little child and saying, "O God, thou art real, and I am whole, and I shall receive the flame of the Divine Mother," you come to question, to condemn, to tear down. You must realize that God is God, the Mother is Mother. If you extend to the Divine Mother a pure heart, she will reward you. And whether or not the vehicle through which I speak is perfect or imperfect is of no concern, for you worship the only true Mother. And therefore there is really never any cause to doubt, because your soul has contact with the real Mother. And that real Mother must be a part of you if you give of your love freely. And when you give it to our representative, you will only be blessed, for that which you give must return to you. Likewise, your condemnation will also return as a tearing down of your own divinity and your own divine mission. Wherever you go in search of God, whoever you meet as a representative of God, you can never be hurt by extending the fire of devotion to the flame, to the God presence. Let God then be concerned with judgment, for he will surely judge those who are the impostors, those who misrepresent the divine life. You have only to love, to be love, to give love, to absorb love, and let God do his work in his own way. You must understand then, these thoughts, these temptations which assail your consciousness exist for one reason: to separate you from the love of the Mother, to tear you from the spiritual path, to deprive you of your divine plan and of the fulfillment of your vow to the Cosmic Virgin. Come then into the heart of the Divine Mother and be at peace. For I am real. The flame within your heart is real, and all else must be consumed by cosmic law, and he will surely fulfill that law, and you are free to worship God as you see him, as you know him, as you understand him. But a word to the wise: if you will tarry for a while in the presence of the Mother, you will learn much about the worship of the Father, the laws of the Father, and how to become child-man, the man-child. I am with you always, and I ask you in the name of the risen Christ to defend the flame, the honor, the integrity, and the nobility of the Mother Ray wherever it is found. Then we shall be victors. We shall win for the age and for Saint Germain. I return to the flame. I am in the heart of the flame. I am the mother of the flame, for I nourish life everywhere. As you keep that flame, you keep the name of Mary, the identity of Mary, the rejoicing and the glory, the victory of my life on earth and in heaven. Remember to call for my mantle. I will place it upon you in the hour of need. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Mm-hmm.